Check your clocks. We are just hours away from Election Day, and the Reverend Jeremiah Wright is back in the news. Now, you remember that tape of his, well, someone else was caught on tape. This time it's a Congressman, Jerry Nadler. He's a supporter of Senator Obama, but wait until you hear what Congressman Nadler said about Senator Obama and Reverend Wright. Yesterday, Congressman Nadler, a Democrat, was asked about Reverend Wright at a synagogue in Florida.
Think of the history here. He's a guy who's half white, half black. He goes to Ivy League school, comes to Chicago to have a political career, to start a political career. Doesn't know anybody. Gets involved with community organizing. Why? Because that's how you form a base. Okay. Joins the largest church in the neighborhood. Got 8,000 members in the Senate district. Why do you join the church? Aside from your bias, maybe? Because that's how you get to know people. Got 8,000 members, you get to know people. You start forming a political base. Now, maybe it takes a couple of years, he starts thinking, Jesus, the guy's a nut. The guy's a lunatic. But you don't walk out of a church with 8,000 members in your district.
You don't walk in, though.
He didn't know it when he walked in, presumably.
You have to go back.
You hear what I'm saying? He didn't have the political courage to want to make the statement of walking out. 20 years? Yeah, 20 years. Now, what does this tell me? Does it tell me? What does it tell me? It tells me that he wasn't terribly politically courageous. Does it tell me he agreed with the Reverend in any way? No. It tells me he didn't want to walk out of a church in his district.
Is Reverend Wright going to have an effect at the polls tomorrow? Joining us live is David Marks, senior editor for Politico. David, Congressman Nadler, Democrat, big supporter of Senator Obama. You have this, and what we're going to play later on in the show is a tape of Senator Clinton saying things about Senator McCain and Senator Obama. I mean, they're calling him, I mean, he's calling him, doesn't have political courage. Can you say anything worse about a candidate?
Well, with friends like this, who needs enemies in politics? Gerald Nadler is saying what a lot of Barack Obama's critics have been suggesting for some time
These
now.
aren't his critics, though. This isn't a critic. This is someone who's on his team who says, you know, vote for this man. This is a supporter. This is a congressman, a member of Congress saying he doesn't have political courage.
Well, he's laying out the case, the precise case against Barack Obama in that case.
Are others saying that behind the scenes?
Oh, certainly. This is a classic political gaffe. He said what he meant. A lot of Democrats probably feel this way, but it doesn't help them to say it publicly.
Yet they'll go out and say, vote for this guy or their candidate. They'll say these terrible things. It's not like you said, I don't like him. The guy's got a bad personality, has no sense of humor. He says he doesn't have political courage. Does that mean that he doesn't have courage in standing up to other countries or in making hard decisions?
It meant that he wanted the vote to the people who sat in that church, and it was politically expedient to stay there for all those years, even when he must have known what was being said from the pulpit.
Don't you see? If I were Senator Obama, I'd be livid tonight, except for his other more pressing personal problems, which are terrible on his plate tonight. But I mean, the idea. I mean, to me, this is one of the worst blows that a candidate can have. If his team thinks he lacks political courage, imagine that floating around Pennsylvania, Ohio, Florida.
Well, if he loses Florida by a small margin or any of these states, he might point to this episode and say, "Hey, sure didn't help very much."
Do you know if it's being run around Pennsylvania that Nadler, a supporter, is saying he lacks political courage because he didn't walk out on Jeremiah Wright? Is that making its round? Is it too late in the election cycle?
I think it is rather late. I think the people most who this motivate would be conservative Republicans who maybe aren't that fond of John McCain but need a reason to get out to the polls. I don't think at this late date the Jeremiah Wright episode generally is going to make that much difference.
It isn't so much Jeremiah Wright. It's that someone on his team says that he does not have political courage. I mean, that's the sort of, and if you're undecided sitting out there in Ohio or Pennsylvania tonight looking for a reason not to vote for a candidate or to vote for one, I would think that would be something that would be distressing.
Doesn't help, but it's pretty late in the game. A lot of people have voted early, so it might not even affect a lot of the people who might not like it very much.
David, thank you.
Thank you.